I got a request on Twitch to stream my games in dark mode, so I thought I would try that out on YouTube as well. So the following game was recorded in dark mode, and let me know what you think. Do you like that format better, or do you like the way it was before? And enjoy the game. Here we go. Tire. Let's see. Time to start off with d4. Play a Queen's Gambit. See how he responds. Ooh, I think that's called the Austrian defense. How's this go? I mean, I could just play a normal move like knight f3, but you have to think about what happens when you take these pawns. I take here. He takes here. Doesn't look so exciting. I take the d pawn. He takes my d pawn. I can take back and try and hold on to the pawn. Or he takes with his queen. And then I can develop a knight with tempo. Well, I have to develop this knight first and then the other knight. There's also the check. And of course, he has a check. So he goes there. So should I give the check? Then he'll just bring his bishop out and harass my queen. And if I bring my knight out to attack his queen, he can just take the pawn. So I have to start with knight f3, I think. And there's a funny thing here where if he takes this pawn, I can actually play knight c3 first because there's a pin also on that pawn. So he goes there. So let's see. But I can attack his queen before he takes my knight. Queen will go back or move somewhere. Anyway, that defense is not considered particularly good for black, but I don't necessarily know how to refute it. Playing like this, isn't this just giving me a pawn? Certainly seems to give me a lot of tempos here. So I'm going to take, just wondering if I should throw in a check first. Check. He'll bring his knight there, and then I'll take. Takes with the queen, or check, he brings his bishop back. Let's take first. I don't mind if he takes this knight. I'll take back with the e-pawn to open up a line for my bishop. Or he can just take the pawn. Which he did. Okay, so now I can play e4. And why not? And if his queen runs back, I can unpin my knight with bishop e2. So he doesn't. He does that. I want to unpin anyway, probably. I could chase the queen first. Get in those tempos while I can. I guess he could try and go somewhere to attack my b pawn. Maybe queen b5, b4, queen b4. But then I have, oh, it's not a check anymore. He's blocked the check. Goes back there. Yeah, so I was just going to unpin here, castle, kick the bishop away. And I just have a pretty good lead in development. It's an open position too. It could lead to a lot of simplifications and maybe give black some drawing chances that way. Ah, he's forcing himself to give up the bishop, huh? So I've got the bishop pair. That's a concrete advantage. That's defended. So I should get my queen out. Maybe take a look at the b pawn. Queen b3. And also bring my rooks to the center. So queen b3. He can harass it with the knight on a5. But then I have queen b5 check. So let's just do that. This has got two defenders, got the bishop and the knight. And two attackers. His queen, I think, is a bit offsides. He doesn't have a light squared bishop anymore to take advantage of the pin here. He's a move or two away from castling, but there's no big threat either, so he doesn't have to be in a hurry to castle. You know, maybe the threat is okay. Well, he's not going to castle queenside now. I'm just wondering if knight to b5 is an annoying move. Could come into c7 with a check, but now he's moved his rook. It's not a fork. This pawn is defended. He could kick the knight, and then the knight would be trapped on c7. Let's do the normal thing and develop a piece. Knight b5 to d6 maybe is an idea. There he goes. After he castles, the rooks will be here and here. But his knight is guarding this square. Maybe could consider chasing the knight away and forking here if I had a knight here. Centralize the other rook. So now I can bring the knight in to this c5 square. Okay, now he's doing something. You know, I was being careless too. Back up here. When I moved the knight away, this pawn was hanging. Okay, and now the bishop is hanging because of the pin. So he's finally found a way to exploit that pin. So I should move my dark squared bishop here so that the queen defends my bishop. And if he trades, my knight will come around to defend the pawn. And I'm going to pretend like I don't care. I don't care if he wins my e-pawn. That's the trouble with chess. No matter how good your position is, you still have to be careful. Pay attention to your opponent's threats. So he could just play... Well, his bishop is hanging. But he could play knight takes bishop with check, queen takes. But he doesn't have time to take the pawn here because his bishop is hanging. So, but he could take the bishop here. I take back with the knight. That defends the pawn momentarily. But then he could kick my knight away. But then if we've gotten rid of this knight here, then I have knight coming into d7 with a fork. Oh no, he's got two knights. He's got two knights that are protecting the d7 square now. We'll just have to see what he comes up with. Yeah, so he takes there first. So I don't have the bishop pair anymore. But I needed to get myself out of trouble. So I can move the knight with a tempo on the rook by going here. And then find another way to defend the pawn. There are other good moves. This is can't play into d7. Don't want to come back here especially. Well, actually, that would be bad. Come back here. That would give him the bishop. So here. The rook can penetrate to the 7th rank now. But let's just defend the pawn, so I don't have to keep worrying about that. Take it from here. So it's 2 knights against knight and bishop, and a symmetric pawn structure, so probably even. Unless there's some specific tactics. The knight maybe is a bit out of play. Yeah, maybe black's a little better. His knight is loose. Maybe I can exploit that. But my queen is tied down to defense of the bishop. Well, it solved one problem. Well, let's see. He can bring his knight down to the 7th rank, or his rook down to the 7th rank, yeah. Okay, so pawn here. Where's the knight going? Could go to the e4 square, or d5 square rather. Pawn here, knight d5, or it could come over here. Back. Let's see where he goes. And I can come over here, hit the rook, and defend the pawn. You can also defend with the rook. Rook e2, he could trade. And then my queen defends the pawn and also gets my queen off the f3 square, so the f pawn can go forward. My knight's still out of play, but it can come in via b7. Well, that's covered. Here, here, covered, covered, covered. Actually, annoyingly few squares. He has a weak back rank, so maybe I can take advantage of that somehow. But I need to get to an open file somewhere. The only open file now is the C file. And he's got C2 covered by his queen and C3 covered by his knight, so I can't use those squares. C4 and C1 are available. And C6. Can't easily chase... so I can take advantage of that back rank weakness to play knight here. He ran away with the rook. Okay. Okay, I'm going to give my knight a perch. I guess there was never really a fork there because, I mean, an effective one, because he could always move his rook with check. Now, however, it's a different story. So something like rook... no, he's just going for the mate. Okay, well, let's... I don't see the mate right away, so let's... I should have taken longer to look at that, but I'm down to 2.5 minutes here. 3 minutes, rather. He can't take my knight because of mate, and I am threatening just to take his knight off. The check here, my king goes to g3. This queen has a follow-up here. That is true. But there is no, well, the check here is guarded by my knight. But if he takes my knight, there might be a problem. Knight takes knight, queen takes knight, and queen here check. Oh, I can block with the rook. Okay, no problem. Oh, I can't take with the queen. I have to take with the pawn. So I could trade queens first. Oh, he trades queens first. Okay. So he got the better pawn structure for the end game. Let's threaten mate. Anyway, so I am going to upload this. We'll see how I should have responded to that Austrian defense, and then see how he got the advantage there. I think he was better here. He just needed to play. Oh, let's go to the analysis board. He just needed to play something else here, like this. I mean, you know, I have a check and can attack these pawns, but I have loose pawns here too. I can't defend all of these. Maybe it's a draw with correct play. Maybe my weaknesses aren't enough, but I think black is better. Anyway, we will upload this and do a postmortem, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.